Here are five teams that I feel that they're going to have a chance to dethrone the Lakers. And I'm not going to mention one name that normally would accompany mentioning about the Lakers on the other side. Cole Sports presents on the Daily. Well, I hope your weekend has treated you well, VIP. Cole Johnson is right here, live and in living color, on the Daily on Tap, presented by Cole Sports. And please subscribe to this video if you want to be that person, man or woman, who is on top of all things in the sports world, whether it's your home, your workplace, or the pub. And speaking of that, take care of yourselves out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is Monday, and normally Mondays we go list style, and we're not going to change it up here. I did mention the name, I did mention the team, and I did mention the mini teams. Let's get to it right now. The list. And here we go. The five teams that I do feel they have a good shot at dethroning the defending world champion Los Angeles Lakers, who won their 17th crown 2 months ago. Which of the five teams am I going to select? Here we go. The first team on that docket will be the Los Angeles Clippers. Well, of course, the crosstown rival. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this all wrong. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the quote crosstown rival. Close quote. Come on! But anyway, the Clippers do stand a good chance of dethroning the Lakers for a few reasons. One, of course, you have Kawhi Leonard. Yes, I know he stunk up the joint this past year's playoffs. I know the Clippers had a 3-1 series lead in the conference semifinals against the Nuggets, and they blew it to force Marcus Morris in saying, quote, at the end of the day, we still were the better team against the Nuggets. Close quote. Son. Let it go. Anyway, you have Kawhi. You have still a deep bench. It's not quite as deep, of course, since Montrezl Harrell is now switched jerseys and still staying in LA. He's now a Laker. But you have him and the pickup of Serge Ibaka from the Raptors. That's huge too. And then you have a coach that has a good knowledge base of LeBron James and Tyronn Lue. Those are factors that could help the Clippers actually overcome the Lakers, possibly. The second team that stands a good shot of dethroning the Lakers, the Brooklyn Nets. I would love to say New Jersey, but I can't say it, Jersey. Brooklyn Nets. Would it be because of DeAndre Jordan? Would it be because of Kyrie Irving? Could it even be because of Steve Nash? But at the end of the day, no, the main and possibly only reason why I say that the throning of the Lakers could happen, Kevin Durant. And the reason why I say that is you have a guy who is on a mission. This guy, the last time he set foot on an NBA court was 19 months ago, or I should say 18 months ago, when he tried out his somewhat, I guess, partially then torn Achilles. And in the first quarter, on one good leg, he gave the best team that year in the Raptors something to really think about because they just simply could not stop the guy. And the only way they could stop him was to not only re-aggravate the injury, but to tear it completely. And he has been recuperating and rehabbing that Achilles ever since. Now, a lot of people would say, well, normally people who have Achilles, it takes them a year to really get back after they rehab for the year after the injury took place. So this, it normally takes 2 years normally for a person who does an Achilles injury rehab to be as good as before. But with Durant, to me, it's a different case simply because he's not really relying on his athleticism as much as most NBA players today. He has a jump shot from anywhere. And I think that will help him in recuperating and recovering faster than most anybody would think he can. Number 3, the third team, I believe, has a great shot of dethroning the Lakers. Well, we'll stay in we'll stay in the Golden State. We'll go up north, the Yay area, as E40 would say, or the Bay Area. We'll go with the San Francisco Golden State Warriors. Sorry, Oaktown. But when you have a team that has championship pedigree, you simply cannot rule them out, for the exception of injuries. That's the only way you can rule them out. And they only have one in Klay Thompson, which is unfortunate because we talked about Achilles. Now he has a year-long Achilles injury to rehab from. However, this team still has Draymond Green in his prime, or Drezilla. They have a Stephen Curry, or Stephen Curry, or Wardell Stephen Curry II. He is in his prime. And they picked up Kelly Oubre from a trade and James Wiseman from the draft. I think Wiseman, Green, and Steph, I think those are the pieces, the linchpin pieces that could help in restoring the luster of the Warriors. Who knows? I mean, they could be like how they were, in 2013, 2014, when they would climb up the hill and they would get their 50 wins. And they probably could be like 2015 because they discovered they had a bench and they had a more free-flowing offense in their first championship there in 40 years. When you have a shot that Curry has, it is difficult, if not virtually impossible, to deny that team can dethrone a team like the Lakers. The fourth team that I believe has the best shot of dethroning the Lakers, well, their franchise long rival, the Boston Celtics. And I would put 2 names chiefly amongst them. Now, they have a decent crew, but I look at Jason Tatum, who is obsessed in wanting to be like Kobe Bryant, which I can't hate on him for it. I mean, Kobe was obsessed to want to do everything the way Jordan did it. Stands the reason that you want to pattern yourself after greatness. And Tatum has improved year after year after year since he's been in the league. There you go. I'll also add the head coach, Brad Stevens. He has a bright mind for the game, and he knows how to put his players in the best positions most of the time. And it's going to have to take that type of brain power to overcome a Frank Vogel in the Lakers, who his philosophy is basically defense, defense, and more defense, and a lot of that name I don't mention unless it's Wednesday, and Anthony Davis. If you can I'll strategize the Lakers, I think the chances of beating them are greater. And the Celtics can do that with Stevens. The Warriors also could do that with Kerr. The Nets possibly could do that with Nash, but this is his rookie season on the bench as a head coach. Ty Lue, I really can't say that he is a great strategist per se, but he does have a championship pedigree. He does have a ring as a coach. So you have to make that a priority there with the coaches. But Stevens, I think, has the brightest mind of them all. And I think he can stymie Vogel in a coach on coach battle. And that could help in dethroning the Lakers. And the fifth team who has the best shot to dethrone the Lakers, actually, they have the ultimate shot of dethroning the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers themselves.
Of course.
Hear me out. They have a deepening team. They acquired Gasol. They acquired Harrell. They acquired Schroeder. So they're deepening their squad, although they have lost pieces such as Rondo and Howard and Avery Bradley and Green. So they've lost pieces, but they've gotten some pieces back. And of course, their two best players, the name I won't mention unless it's Wednesday, and Anthony Davis. The reason why I put the Lakers on this list, injury. Look at Gasol. Look at the man I won't mention. And even look at Davis. Even though he's in his prime now, they suffer from age, and Davis definitely suffers from injury. So injury is going to play a big time factor. And the supposed best player on the team will be 36 once we get into the new year. So when the supposed best player on the team is in the twilight of his career, it begs the question, how long can the dynasty last? Even though there isn't one. But if you're pinning your hopes on someone who has that much mileage on them, then you have to legitimately ask the question, how long can this train roll? Or will they hop and put their wagon behind the guy who is in his prime, in Anthony Davis, and say, big man, this is your team now. In order for the Lakers to avoid being their own worst enemy, I believe that is what they have to ultimately do. That, and you're going to have to monitor minutes of the name I won't mention unless it's Wednesday. So quickly, the 5 teams that I believe have the best shot of dethroning the Lakers, it is simple. Number 1, the Clippers. Number 2, the Nets. Number 3, the Warriors. Number 4, the Celtics. And number 5, the Lakers. It's not going to be easy because that team is going to fight to defend their throne. And plus, you got a guy in Anthony Davis who has just entered his prime. The road's going to be tough, but the upcoming NBA season is going to be interesting nonetheless. Now, if you want this shirt that you see right before your very eyes, the description box below has all the details as to how to get it and the many ways and styles in which you can get it. And if there's a team that I have missed, or if there's a team that you feel in your heart can actually dethrone the Lakers, or if you feel as though they're going to repeat, In either case, VIP, like this video and share throughout all of your social media. Comment below because I want to hear what you have to say. I love your comments. Don't forget, hit that notification bell and subscribe to this channel for any and all content that emanates from here. Well, that's all the time I have. Thank you so much, VIP. You are the reason why I do this. This has been yet another installment of Cool Sports on the visual and on the